Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Dota 2 commentary brought to you by yours truly, Bibon, and this is Group D. This is the match that will decide the fate of teams going to the bracket or who will get sent home, not even getting the chance to participate in the playoffs bracket. This is a match between Alliance and Fnatic. Now, currently Fnatic have not yet lost a match, but they haven't played Alliance. But Alliance have lost a match. If you have not seen the previous game, I do advise you to check it out. Quantic beat Alliance with some really awesome picks. They picked up an Outworld Devourer, a Dazzle, and a Pugna, and they beat Alliance in a matter of 20-something minutes. So Alliance definitely need to win this match if they have any hopes of getting to the playoff brackets and trying to defend their grand title champion. But since this is a Dreamhack, the way the teams advance is a bit weird. There's a time rating system. So teams who win faster have a significant advantage. And considering the last game that Quantic won, even though they did lose to Fnatic, they've won both their other matches in quite a decent chunk of time. So I think if Alliance beat Fnatic in under 28 minutes or something like that, then Alliance will move on, Fnatic will get sent home, and Quantic moves on. I think no matter what, Quantic does move on just because their time record is so good. But I could be mistaken. All I know is that Alliance, they will need to win very quickly, otherwise they won't even have a shot to participate in the playoff bracket and defend their championship title that they got DreamHack Winter. And after winning the G1 League, that would be a momentous surprise if that actually did happen. Meanwhile, Fnatic, they're a team that's definitely been around very long. They're a team that thrives in land conditions, being former Han team that played for quite a while together, but they have been not looking that strong recently, and that's because Fly has been busy with all his stuff that he does when he does it. But they have been invited to TI3, keep in mind, and they have been bootcamping in Serbia, and they will continue to bootcamp for another month and a half, I think, before TI3 starts. I don't know how long they've been bootcamping thus far, maybe around a week and a half, but the bootcamp will continue, and hopefully we'll see the return of the old Fnatic that we've come to know and love with their crazy picks and the crazy item choices and overall very solid and composed play. But we're going to have to see if they have it in them to currently stick it out against the defending DreamHack champions Alliance and hopefully move on to the playoff bracket. So far the picks and bans look very standard, and Alliance, they ban out Keep Light as well as Gyrocopter, heroes that not only are annoying to play against, but can also make their pushing strategy, if they do decide to go for a pushing strategy, very obsolete, because those heroes are very strong in terms of turtling. Meanwhile, Fnatic getting rid of some very strong aggressive heroes, so Alliance definitely looking to go on the offensive. We'll see what they decide to go for. They're going to probably pick up a hero from Bulldog with one of these opening two choices, but it remains to be seen if it's going to be a Nature's Prophet or a Lone Druid just yet. And I think it'll probably have to be the Nature's Prophet, or actually the Lone Druid, since they want to push very early on and want to end the game ASAP. But they're going to get the Barometer, and they will have a very solid initiation going into their game. But still, Barometer does take a little time to farm up his dagger, and Alliance needs all the time they can get. Meanwhile, we'll see how Fnatic responds. They still have 2 picks left, and I guess we're going to wait to see what they're going to choose. Probably won't pick a support just yet. Might look to secure themselves a hard carry. Keep in mind, Fnatic were one of those teams who waited till the last pick to choose the hard carry, since Era had a multitude of different heroes that could play as the hard carry. Fnatic actually were the ones who popularized Alchemist and his return to fame, so they definitely know that Era can handle a multitude of different heroes at that hard carry position. But Fnatic taking quite a while trying to decide what pick will be best for them. They're going to pick up the Darkseer, going to get some teamfight presence on their side, as well as securing themselves a nice offlaner choice. And Darkseer is very difficult to break the base against, just because pushing in against Vacuum and Wall is just such a nightmare, since Wall is very strong in terms of choke points and Vacuum forces you into a choke point. But we need to see if Fnatic can pick up another hero that can secure people in place so that Ion Shell and Wall can do their maximum damage, and they also need to pick up some early game presence since Darkseer really wants to get at least level 10 before he's sort of forced to fight. They're going to pick up the Bane, so they're going to have some early game potential to roam and gank, but really not too much damage in the pool. So Fnatic might have to gank very early on in order to make this Bane pick work out, as Alliance will get their hands on Admiral Bulldog's favorite hero in the form of the Lone Druid.
Radiant team banned.
Fnatic gonna get rid of the Chen, recognizing that Alliance could potentially push, and they can potentially push very, very hard. Alliance gonna get rid of the Puck, so they don't want to face against a Darkseer Puck lineup, which is gonna be incredibly difficult to break the base against. And Alliance, they just need to break the base as fast as possible and just sort of bring Fnatic to their knees. But Fnatic, we'll see if they decide to ban other pushing heroes, something like Enchantress, maybe even heroes like Pugna, because those heroes are very, very strong in terms of pushing and can definitely make Fnatic's life a living hell, since right now Fnatic, they have decent early game in the form of Bane, but not too much early game damage, since Bane is really good at controlling the early game with his disables rather than damaging heroes. And Darkseer, of course, like I mentioned previously, does want to hit at least level 10 or 11, so he can get a lot of points into NHL, a lot of points into Vacuum, and at least 1 point into Wall. Smart ban by Fnatic, banning out the Juggernaut, as that healing ward would allow for easier pushes by Alliance, and you can see just how tense this game is going to be. Fnatic banning out all the strong, aggressive early game heroes, but they can't go overboard since they might not pick a synergetic lineup that can really take advantage of Alliance's lack of pushing. And Alliance still have strong pushing capability with the Lone Druid and Barometer, just makes breaking into the base a lot easier, just so you can get that Firefly vision and then just isolate a hero, pick him off, and then go to work on the rest of his team. Alliance making a smart ban, banning out the Jakiro, recognizing that Darkseer in conjunction with Jakiro, Ice Path into Vacuum is such a good combination, or rather Vacuum into Ice Path is such a good combination, and Jakiro is also very difficult to break the base against. So far I'm really loving Alliance's ban choices, but still, we're going to have to see if their picks can win the game fast enough, because they are on a clock, and if they have any shot of advancing, they're going to need to win this game very, very quickly.
Reserve time.
So Fnatic going to take a bit of their time. We'll see if they decide to secure themselves a hard K. I think Alchemist would be a solid choice, since the minus armor that Acid Spray provides, as well as the anti-Blink Dagger approach it gives you for a bit, is going to be quite productive in my opinion. But then again, Barrett can Firefly from so many different angles that Acid Spray won't always cancel his dagger. But still, it will be incredibly annoying for the Spirit Bear to actually push against the tower if his armor is constantly reduced, especially since Lone Druid does not really build into the armor build anymore. And one of the main perks of the armor build is that it it gave the Spirit Bear a lot more tankiness with the extra HP regen, as well as the extra armor, but Fnatic going to secure themselves in Undying. So it looks like they want to combat Alliance aggressive behavior with their own aggressive pressure. Going to get themselves Undying, and now they have the makings of a very, very strong tri-lane. Although Undying, he's sort of a wear and tear tri-lane hero rather than a burst tri-lane hero. And Bane, really just not that strong in terms of, I guess, bursting either. So Fnatic, they have the makings of an aggressive tri-lane, but it's not really the most standard aggressive tri-lane that immediately comes to mind when you think of it. But I guess Fnatic just want to pressure Loda as much as possible. They know that if Loda gets a lot of farm, he could potentially be a huge problem, but I don't know if this is the right way to go about it, as Alliance will pick up the Visage, just because Bulldog will just decimate you very early on, since he farms so incredibly well with this hero. And Lone Druid, if he's given enough room to farm up, can win the game in under 30 minutes, which is what Alliance is going for. And Lone Druid does do quite well against Darkseer, if that is the 1v1 matchup. So Fnatic gonna have to be careful if they do go on the offensive, and Alliance is gonna pick up another strong silent hero in the form of Visage. So they're gonna get a lot of damage in the form of the birds, they're gonna have Soul Assumption bursting down creeps, and there's the Alchemist choice for Fnatic, rounding out their tri-lane, but it's remained to be seen just yet if it's gonna be aggressive or defensive. Really smart support choice by Alliance, going to get Leshrac, so now they have a bit of stun presence, they have a way to lock people in place while Visage goes to work and their Trial and Carry goes to work, and more importantly they have the Edict that can push down towers so very quickly, especially with the Lone Druid tanking up with the Spirit Bear. But Fnatic now have the Acid Spray Bomb on their side. It's going to be interesting to see how Fnatic use this Alchemist, since Alchemist does thrive a bit more in a defensive challenge just so he can farm up as fast as possible and get to as big a start. But he does do pretty well in the aggressive Chan, but I don't know if the damage is there to really take advantage of his presence. Just because in Dying, again, he wears and tears rather than just burst people down. And Bane, he sort of does a similar thing. And Bane and Undying aren't really the best roaming supports. They don't really have a chance to go middle and really pressure Batrider out of the middle lane. So Fnatic, I don't know if they're going about it the right way with this trialing choice, but we're going to have to wait and see since this is a very strong defensive lineup. And it is going to be annoying pushing against Decay as well as Tombstone. So Fnatic could be just going for a base defense lineup, but I'm not sure that that is the most viable strategy to go in this situation at least. Alliance getting rid of the Tinker, recognizing that Fnatic still need to pick a mid hero, and knowing that Tinker is just going to be a nightmare to push in against with the March Machine spam. Meanwhile, Fnatic getting rid of the Dragon Knight, so eliminating a tanky carry, but Fnatic will secure themselves Queen of Pain. This will give him a little bit of burst damage, but still, Alliance have quite a tanky lineup. I guess this is more to pressure Batrider in the middle lane, since Fnatic don't really have a good solid answer to the Batrider just yet. And so Hani playing that Queen of Pain most likely will be able to control the Batrider to some extent, but still it does depend on the player's skill, even though Queen of Pain does have a slight advantage, and S4, his Batrider is among the best, if not one of the best in the Western scene. Meanwhile, Alliance is going to try to pick up their hard lane carry right now, or their safe lane carry right now. I don't imagine they're going to go on the offensive, they're going to go on the defensive, and we'll see what they decide to go for. It won't be anything like a Spectre, or maybe not even a PA, since PA does take a bit of time. They might want to go in a bit earlier, and if that's a choice, maybe something like a Sven could be a solid pickup here. But still, we're just waiting with bated breath currently since Alliance. They're on a clock, and that clock is ticking down, and they're going to pick up the Luna to give them a lot of early game pushing presence with that Lunar Blessing Aura. Although Luna, it is a bit difficult for her to win these days, but I think this is the best possible choice that Alliance could have picked up. They have a great strong carry that wants to end the game ASAP with the Lunar Blessing Aura, and they have a carry that can do a lot of damage in the early game and transition well to the early stages of the mid game. So Luna is a really, really strong pickup in my opinion, and Loda gonna probably be playing this hero quite well. But in terms of overall laning choices, I do have to favor Alliance slightly. They have a Visage on their side, they have Batrider in the middle lane, who might be the only problem for Alliance. But if Fnatic do decide to run an aggressive tri lane, which well, at least to my eye, when they picked up the Undying, that's what I think they were going to go for, then they could be in a bit of a sticky situation, because going against Visage in the aggressive tri lane is just going to be an absolute nightmare. And Fnatic looks like they're actually going to go on the defensive. They all have pooled Hani a bit of extra regen, so he can control the middle lane up against the Batrider. Meanwhile, S4 not being pulled anything, wants to get that bottle rush ASAP. And you can see Alliance actually going to smoke up. They want to get the early advantage, trying to catch Fnatic by surprise, so introducing the players and teams very, very quickly. We're going to have S4 playing the Batrider, Aki is playing the Visage, Loda is playing the Luna, EGM is playing the Leshrac, and Admiral Bulldog will be taking care of his favorite hero, the Lone Druid. Me on the side of Fnatic, we're going to have Fly playing the Bane Elemental, No-Tail is playing the Undying, Era is playing the Alchemist, Trixie is playing the Darkseer, and Hani is going to be taking care of that Queen of Pain. Interesting ward by Fnatic. They don't want to be ganked early on, but here comes Smoke and Deceit attempt by Alliance. They know the pressure's on them, but Darkseer is going to spot him out. Aki trying to get in position to get a Grave Chill going, since he did level that spell up at level 1 rather than getting the Soul Assumption. And No-Tail could be in a bit of a sticky situation. They are going to use him to charge up the hill first, but here comes the bear. The stun's going to be charged by Era, splurred by EGM, only going to catch No-Tail on the low ground. The Ion Shell doing quite a bit of damage to the bear, but Alchemist just not taking enough to charge up the cliff, as Darkseer will be the first one to get picked off that Grave Chill, just doing way too much, and Darkseer with that Surge, very, very killable. And meanwhile, Fnatic on full retreat, but there's so many stacks of Napalm slowing the people down by such an incredible amount, allowing Leshrac to get so many stuns off. Fly going to be in a lot of trouble, and Alliance going to take a swift 3-0 advantage, really taking control of the laning phase as the creeps do spawn. And now Fnatic, they're going to go on the defensive, but Alliance with those kills, they are going to go on the aggressive, and now they have a Flying Courier to their name, they have a lot of extra regen, and they're going to have a level advantage. I mean, half a level is quite significant in a Shrine vs. Shrine where experience is so scarce. And you can see Alliance placing a very, very aggressive Zerg ward. Want to watch for any possible teleports, as well as watch for pulls since they didn't block off the pull spot. And right now, Era, he's not going to have any chance of farming because he is up against a triple range Shrine, and all he has is one range hero in the form of Bane, and he can't really apply the best defensive pressure. All he can do is Nightmare. He can't really harass with his physical damage since he doesn't have much range. As Visage, nice stun micro, really well played as they mentioned dodge the stun duration. EGM gonna be stuck in place for a bit. Here comes Loda back on the assault. No Tail potentially in a lot of trouble, but we'll be able to escape for now. But Fnatic not getting any experience whatsoever. Meanwhile, Loda is very close to hitting that level 2, already is level 2.5, and is going to get dangerously close to level 3. And once Alliance get that Soul Sumption online, Fnatic really have to be very, very careful. S4 has already picked up his bottle. Those 2 assists and that first kill in the early game really cemented that fast bottle. He's going to have those boots of speed up relatively soon as well. And with that, you can control the Queen of Pain quite well once he gets the boots of speed. Since, I mean, you can blink, but Barrier will be so fast that he can catch up to you very, very quickly. And Bulldog, very well acquainted to this matchup, knows how to deal with the creep skipping Darkseer. He has 2 heroes that can tank the tower, and Darkseer is not going to pressure the bear, giving up additional gold. So Bulldog is just having a field day and giving a Lone Druid free farm, especially a Lone Druid on caliber of Bulldog. Probably top 3 Lone Druid players in the world, if not the best Lone Druid player in the world, is just not going to be a good time for Fnatic. So far Alliance is playing very, very well, but still they need to win the game soon, and they need to win it very, very soon, as they only have about 25 minutes left before they will get knocked out due to time rating. But Barrier does pick up Haste Rune. He's going to go on the bottom lane with that Haste Rune, and Darkseer could potentially be in the lot 12. Barrier only level 3, but has that first point to Firefly, and instead of going in for the Queen of Pain, is instead going to turn his attention to the Darkseer. Era or Trixie in a lot 12 going to pop the Surge, but nice blocks by S4, going to block off the remaining portion of Surge. Barrier going to pop his Haste Rune, going to get stacks of Napalm, stacks upon stacks upon stacks. Darkseer trying to get whatever CS he can possibly get, may hope to deny himself to neutrals, but that's going to be in vain, and that Haste Rune means that Barrier will be able to get himself back to the lane without losing too much experience whatsoever. Has picked up that level 4 now on the back of that kill, and the Alliance are off to a rollicking start. Hani has that magic wand, has not yet picked up a bottle. Really needs to get a bottle of boot speed online. Is saving his skill points. He's going to be engaging on the top lane. EGM in a lot of trouble. EGM will die. The first kill being given up by Alliance as Nightmare into stun into decay setup just did a lot of work. And now Fnatic, they're in a bit of a better position than Tron since they had that point to Tombstone, which is going to be a very, very annoying spell to deal with at this stage in the game, although level 1 Tombstone is not really fearsome whatsoever. Loda going to take a lot of right click harass, and that Undying had 3 points in decay, and here comes the engagement. The Grave Chill will be popped onto No Tail, but he does manage to get 1 more decay off, and you can see Luna's HP very, very low. Is forced to burn the salve in order to try to escape. So this is going to allow Era to free up some form of farm. Not getting any points in Acid Spray. I think he should get a point to Acid Spray at the very least in order to defend against very early pushes, since, I mean, Alliance, that's obviously what they're going to do. They're going to be pushing very early on, and they're going to do it very hard. Trixie farming the bottom lane once again, creep skipping, but Bulldog just going to be completely uninterrupted. I don't think he's missed any CS. You can see he has 27 CS in 4 minutes. Ridiculous farm being pumped out by Bulldog, as he is averaging pretty much perfectly farm. I think he's only missed 1 CS. And that Lone Druid already has the Boots of Speed online. Looks like Bulldog will go into a Boots of Tranquility, although this could potentially be a Fast Vlads in order to try to get that pushing prowess going ASAP. Beyond the top lane, Fnatic just trying to get whatever experience they can possibly get, but yeah, Grievel's Greed is well and good for Alchemist to get himself back in the game, but I really want to get that early point to Acid Spray just so they can defend against early game engagements, and the annoyance factor of pushing in against Acid Spray is just going to be tremendous. But he did get an extra point to Grievel's Greed. We'll see if that costs him, or we'll see if that actually benefits him a bit more than I was anticipating, just so he can get a bit of extra gold. And Fly stacking some neutral camps. Gonna stack this very, very nice creep camp, as these creeps can be farmed very, very quickly with a point to Acid Spray. But still, Alliance biding their time, but now only about 20 minutes left before the time rating system does kick into full effect. And they are getting a lot of farm, they're getting a lot of items, but have not yet picked down a single tower, and they're going to need to do that very, very soon. And don't expect Fnatic to GG out, unless I might be mistaking the time rating system, but I do believe Fnatic does have the advantage for the most part in the time rating. Meanwhile, Fnatic Hani just popping that Scream Pain. And here comes Engaging, going to be circulating back up on that top lane. Decay just zoning out the side of Alliance so effectively, just really greatly reducing the HP pool of the people who want to go in. And meanwhile, Trixie has to be very careful. He is in danger of being entangled. Is going to pop the Surge to get him out of trouble, but now he's very close to being out of mana. Has that Soaring online at the very least.
Radiant's bottom tower
And
is
meanwhile,
under attack.
looks like the rune is going to be controlled by Alliance, but still, they need to get the tower push going. They have Leshrac online. 2 points in stun, getting that bit of extra AoE as well as that bit of extra damage to keep a lock in place rather than getting that point to Edict, since they weren't able to get a tower push going that early on. Meanwhile, Fnatic forced to hide behind their tier 1 tower. They know Barret is missing. They do see Barret. They have a ward here, which did block off the Radiant pulls. And the Dire are going to fortify their structures. A bit of a questionable glyph that might have been a misclick, and Barret is just going to fly overhead, and now they don't have a glyph to protect their tower. S4 will get a nice lead onto Era, who was charging up a stun, so he could potentially be in Launch. Nightmare will be cast on Era. Here comes Sonic Wave, going to be cast by Hani, but now Hani in a bit of a sticky situation. Looks like Queen of Pain did pick off Leshrac, but Barret does manage to kill off Alchemist. Aki is going to be the next one to fall to a Brain Sap, and it's going to be a 2-for-1 engagement in favor of Fnatic, as their defensive lineup really thriving underneath their tower at this point. But still, S4 and Bulldog and Loda are the ones who survive for Alliance, definitely their 3 most important heroes. And S4 going to be making his way towards that very fast stagger. I've got to think Blink Dire will be the best choice for S4 in this game. He's making his way towards it very, very quickly. He already has his core items online, so at this rate he will get maybe a 10-minute, 11-minute dagger, and a 10 or 11-minute dagger up against the squishy lamp that Fnatic currently has is just going to be brutal. You know, Trixie going to make his way back to bottom lane, going to go for the mechanism, but Bulldog looking to apply a bit of pressure, and Fnatic don't really have what it takes to support it outside of sending Darkseid to use some ion shells. Because if they send support, they're going to weaken their Tron quite significantly, and Bulldog just not caring, and Bulldog, since he knows the glyph was likely popped, is just going to back off, wait for another push to come in, and then go back in on the offensive. But Hani gets a regeneration rune, but it's so difficult ganking Lone Druid at this stage in the game. He's so damn tanky with that bear, who has that Orb of Venom, further annoying that Darkseer to no end. So it looks like Alliance playing a bit calm, bit collected. I mean, if it was me, I'd be panicking like heck, saying, alright, we need to end the game ASAP. But Alliance just gonna go with the flow. They know they still have an advantage at this point. They have 2 other players playing their signature heroes, S4 playing the Barotter, which is one of his signatures, even though Barotter is usually banned up against S4. They have Bulldog playing the Lone Druid, and they are getting a lot of farm, and they will be able to have a huge impact once they get their main items up. And it'll be interesting to see what item Bulldog goes for. Will it be a Radiance Rush? Will it be a Maelstrom Rush? That remains to be seen, as Queen of Pain will rotate in to try to get engagement up on the top lane. And EGM very low in terms of HP. He is level 4, but here comes Queen of Pain on the approach. The stun will go down onto Loda. It does manage to catch him, but S4 is going to teleport to help save out his allies, and will be enough to drive Hani away. You know, Aki going to rotate himself to the bottom lane, and that's going to force a response by Alchemist. Has not yet put a point to Acid Spray, so I really don't know what he can actually do on this bottom lane. He's just going to watch his tower die. I don't think this is the best move by Fnatic, but actually, they're going to get a vacuum into stun combination. Bulldog will be in a lot of trouble. He's going to go in, try to pick off the tower, will get it denied right from underneath his nose. A crushing defeat for Alliance, as Bulldog will lose his life. So I guess that teleport was worth it in the end by Era. But still, Fnatic did lose one of their towers, but getting a huge deny is going to be of the utmost importance, and Fnatic clawing their way back in the game. And the best way to advance is just to win, because then they'll be undefeated. And, I mean, Alliance, they will have 2 losses, so they wouldn't be moving on regardless.
Denied.
Meanwhile, Loda has picked up the drums, going to go for a very early game build, as a teleport on the bottom lane will be Bulldog. He has 1800 gold in the mix, so it looks like he is saving up for that Radiance Rush, but still 10 minutes have passed and only 1 tower has been claimed for Alliance, and again, they are playing on the clock. And right now it's difficult for them to find an opening, but my eyes are going to be watching S4. He needs to get that dagger online, and he will get it around 11 minutes. And once he gets the dagger, then that will really open up the map quite a bit for Alliance, since it's going to be very, very scary to actually defend towers, since the Barotter is in position to get that Flaming Lasso gank from anywhere on the map.
Denied.
Queen of Pain getting a decent amount of farm, 38 last hits. You can see Fnatic for the most part are being quite out-farmed, but they have, heroes that can definitely come back in terms of farm. They have Alchemist, as Alchemist is going to charge up the stun. Will actually stun himself, so going to have to position himself out of sight. Since he doesn't have his ultimate online, we'll get Nightmared instead. Really nice job, or nice recognition by Fly. Going to Nightmare Alchemist. Using it relatively safely, since if Alchemist were his initiate, he could get the Nightmare dispelled. But S4 has picked up the dagger at precisely 11 minutes, and we are going to see a rotation by EGM, perhaps making an attempt to go on middle lane. But instead he's just going to plant some wards and try to secure that top lane as best he possibly can. And now Era, even though he only has 17 last hits, that 2 points in the Greeble screen makes it seem like he has maybe around 22, 23 CS, which is still quite pathetic 11 minutes in the game, but it's better than nothing. But I really hope he gets a point to Acid Spray very, very soon. He needs it. Fnatic have any choice of holding on to the early game barrage, as S4 is going to come in with that dagger. Fnatic don't have a ward to spot out S4, so they currently have no idea where he is. For all they know, he could be on the bottom lane, he could be making his way back middle. And Alliance is going to aggressively contest this creep hole with this observer ward they have planted, and they will be able to scout out and overhead. S4 going to pop the Firefly, but with the flying vision nerf, he can't really see people as effectively. But No Tail going to reveal himself, and S4 will be able to drag down Dying. Such a crucial kill being picked up by Alliance, as they do manage to get an Eclipse kill, but the stun going to be challenged by Era. Lotus in a lot of trouble. He will die, as the Ion Shell in conjunction with the Screaming Pain from the Queen of Pain was able to pick up a kill, so it's going to be a very worthwhile trade for Fnatic, getting on Luna kill in exchange for a Undying kill, and Hani going to pursue the issue. Has that haste in his back pocket, will challenge that Sonic Wave, going to get another Scream of Pain, is taking a lot of edge, but he does kill off S4 in the end. Really, really remarkable play by Hani, as Era just getting mauled to death by his tower, but it looks like he will be okay. Does pop the fully charged Magic Wand. And Fnatic starting to pull ahead. It's looking a bit iffy for Alliance, as No Tail going to charge forward very bravely, pops a Tombstone, and looks like Fnatic want to get this tier 1 tower up in the top lane, and without the lasso, it's going to be very difficult for Alliance to actually defend it. Bulldog currently doesn't have a TP, his bear didn't buy one either, so he won't be there on the defense, but it looks like No Tail and his Fnatic squad will back off. And EGM does pick up a healthy bounty in the form of the Tombstone. Actually, that was Aki. Meanwhile, my eyes will be on Bulldog. If Alliance want to make a decisive comeback, Bulldog will be the key, but the bear in a lot of trouble. It is going to be resummoned, or going to be brought back, and will likely be resummoned if it's not being healed up to full HP, since I'm sure Admiral Bulldog does not want to give 300 gold towards the Darkseer. And Darkseer has already finished his mechanism. Fnatic Hani going to go for the point booster. Probably won't rush an Aghanim Scepter, just wants a bit of extra mana as well as HP, but if he rushes an Aghanims, it could be potentially very solid. That reduced cooldown can do a lot of work, but it really becomes more effective once you get level 16. And Alliance going to smoke up. We'll see if they can get a proper opening, as once again Fnatic don't have any wards. So Era going to be in a lot of trouble. Era will most definitely die. Going to pop the ultimate to make Alliance's life a bit more difficult, but that is not going to be enough. Actually, No Tail does get himself stunned up, as S4 is stunned in place for a long time. S4 will exchange his life once again, so every time S4 does initiate, somebody else on the side of Alliance does die. And trading an Undying for a Batrider at this point, very much worth it, since Undying is playing as support. Even though killing Undying is quite annoying for Fnatic, since they do want to have him get levels. Or actually, that was an Alchemist, my bad. As Hani is going to be Lucent Beam, but should be alright. But Bulldog now deciding now is the time to strike. Will go in on the middle tower, and I don't know if Fnatic have what it takes to defend this. I think they've already used the majority of their TPs. They are going to rush to defend this tower, but their TPs simply won't be in time. Here comes Hani on the offensive, has that double Daedrin, looking to spot out EGM. EGM gonna be okay for now. Eclipse gonna be back online for Loa, doing a lot of damage, but unable to pick up any kills. But Alliance, they got what they came for. They got the middle tier 1 tower, and that is going to go a long way in terms of fortifying their bank accounts. But still, time is ticking ever so dangerously. Fly gonna get surged in, gonna get that Fiend's Grip onto Loda. There will be enough damage by Fnatic to stun him in place, as Flame Break won't be enough to disrupt Fly, as Era and Trixie do secure a kill. So Fnatic playing very, very strongly at this point in the game. They're gonna actually go to work on the middle tier 1. It's still at relatively full HP, and Fnatic gonna back off appropriately. I think this was the right move in the end. And Era, still no points in Acid Spray, but he is level 9 and now can start getting those points in Acid Spray, and that will just make Alliance's pushing strategy a lot more difficult to execute. But if Alliance are going to come back, it will be on the back of Bulldog, who has that relic, is working his way towards Radiance, and that Radiance damage at this point in the game going to be absolutely tremendous. Even though Fnatic do have some tanky heroes, that Radiance damage will be ever so annoying since it does 50 damage per second and just gives that bear a lot of extra damage to work with. And Bane, he only has 1 level Enfeeble, so that will only cut the Radiance boost in half. Although he will be hitting level 7 relatively soon, but here comes another teleport by Fnatic up onto the top lane as Alliance are smoked up once again. Fnatic do drop a Sentry Ward, and I think they will spot out S4, as here comes the Initiation Fly, will be grabbed as No-Tail should probably just back off, and it looks like it won't be a trade this time for Alliance. They're just going to get a free kill with help of S4's Blink Dagger, and they're going to watch a Tombstone die. This Tombstone actually giving up a significant amount of gold, but it is level 4 Tombstone, so it is quite tanky, and it will survive for now, and they might even kill off these birds. No, the birds will escape from the wrath of these zombies. Visage holding on to a lot of gold. Not too sure what he's going to go for. Probably a Mecha Rush. Admiral Bulldog getting dangerous close to Radiance. EGM, not too much money either. Just been buying a lot of wards. S4 has not been able to get that many kills. Has gotten quite a number, but still has traded his life multiple times in exchange to get those kills. So he's going to be quite far away from finishing the 4 staff. Although it might be more prudent for S4 to actually build tank items in this game, since 4 staff is all well and good, but you want to tank up as much as possible. And Darkseer will just surge away, but here comes the Bulldog Bear looking to get entangled, but he will be thwarted for now. And meanwhile, Fly just going to drive EGM away, canceling that Edict with the Nightmare for the most part, and allows Fnatic to retreat safely. Era really needs to get his farm game going. He's suffering quite a bit, and this Alchemist, he's a farm-dependent hero, and he does have a way to get back and farm very, very quickly, especially with these neutral stacks that Fnatic have been providing him. But still, without the Acid Spray, it's just going to be even more difficult to get himself back in the game. Loda going to rush that BKB, and with the BKB finish, that might give Alliance the opening they need to actually break this tier 2 mid and try to even break into the base. As the clock is ticking, only around 10 minutes left for Alliance to make their move, or try to win the game. But the Radiance has been finished on Bulldog, and this could be what Alliance were hoping for, as back when Lone Druid did go for Radiance, at the point where you got it, means that the Lone Druid team should theoretically take down 2 towers, especially with the Edict online. These towers should be taken very, very easily. And Fnatic going to respond by doing a tower trade, but they are going to give this middle tier 2 tower in exchange for this top tier 1. Probably not worth it. Actually, can Fnatic even pressure this top tier 1 fast enough, as this tower getting absolutely obliterated? Alliance to just push on to try to break the base, since really Fnatic did not put up any presence whatsoever. And that is indeed what Alliance is going to do. Alliance might actually fall back, as the wall is going to be used to zone out Trixie, but Trixie going to get himself lassoed. Will there be enough damage to hold Trixie in place? The zombies gonna be so annoying, but the Eclipse bounces perfectly. And really nice engagement. They do kill off the Darkseer, and Alliance will back off for now. The wall is still in place. They might wait for the wall to wear off, but it is a level 2 wall, so at the very least it will last for 30 seconds. But Trixie actually going to buy back. He wants to have a mechanism up for the team fight, but the Tombstone is going to be down very, very soon. Enfeeble does go down onto the bear, and Acid Spray level 1 is going to be ever so annoying to push in against. As that was a great point for for Era to actually get that Acid Spray online. He really needed to hit that level 10, and what a timing to actually get that. So instead, Alliance is going to set their sights on the top lane, where it's going to be a bit easier. And Fnatic don't have the best split pushing lineup. They have Darkseer and they have Queen of Pain, but nothing on the rival of something like a Gyrocopter with a Shadow Blade, or I guess an Anti-Mage with a Battle Fury, although nobody's on that level. And Fnatic, they have a pretty strong teamfight lineup, but if we check out the golden turn experience graph, you can see Alliance do have a golden edge as well as an experience advantage, but Fnatic, they are holding on, and that's the biggest thing. Meanwhile, Bulldog just going to be split pushing with his Lone Druid Bear, just going to make sure that the bottom lane is constantly pushed out, and then just resummon the bear whenever he finds it necessary to do so. Nice job by Bulldog controlling the creepy Golem, as Bulldog making the most of his lone druid choice, and this is why he is a master of this hero.
Dire's top tower is
And
under
Alliance will
attack.
claim another tower for free. Loda does pick up the last hit, and that is going to make him very, very close to picking up his BKB. Meanwhile, Fnatic, a bit hesitant to do anything at this point. I mean, they want to fight as a team, but they know if they get in position to get picked off by Barrier, they could be potentially in a lot of trouble, but they need to defend these towers, otherwise they'll give Alliance way too much gold to work with. But they're just simply not in position. Looks like Hani as well as Trixie are pushing out the bottom lane as best they can. But still, they are going to lose another tower. They're going to fortify, just drawing out the time as long as possible. But this will give Loda enough to finish his BKB if he does pick up the last hit. And only 1 hour tower remains, and I don't even think Alliance will make their way towards this tower. They're going to instead pressure the top as well as middle lanes, and then try to end the game at that point. And really, Fnatic in a lot of trouble. They're going to pop the Acid Spray, but it's only level 1, as he did pick up that level 2 Chemical Rage very appropriately, but this is why I wished he kind of maxed Acid Spray instead of maxing Grievous Greed. Otherwise, the creeps would be dying so quickly as Barrier flying overhead. Fnatic going to back off appropriately as Darks are trying to get in position for a wall. And Alliance just going to chip away at the tower with the bear, back off, heal themselves up, and then go back in whenever they find the opening. Actually, they're going to take this time to farm some more in the enemy team's jungle. Going to clear up a nice stack that was reserved for Era. And Era's definitely got to be a bit disappointed once he finds out that annoying factor. Loda has now finished his BKB, so now he can charge in very, very bravely, and there's really nothing on the side of Fnatic that can stop him. Nothing on the side of Fnatic goes through their BKB, and dying zombies are just a petty annoyance for Luna once she has that point to Glaives. EGM has that maxed Edict, and the Hyperstone as well as the Chainmail is picked up on the bear. Bulldog's farm is absolutely ridiculous. 10,000 net worth at 22 minutes of the game is very, very impressive, as looks like Fnatic smoked up, but are going to be in a lot of trouble. Alchemist did pick up the Shadow Wave Flag, going to cast a defensive Nightmare on himself, but looks like Fnatic are in full retreat. Trixie will get picked off. He already used his buyback in the previous push, going to pop the wall, but it's in a very, very suboptimal position. Just want to get it down as best he possibly could. But it looks like Alliance will secure themselves 2 easy kills, and they're going to turn their attentions to the tier 3. And with the Edict as well as the bear, this tier 3 will die in a matter of moments. Fnatic don't have a glyph. Here comes Barrier. He did not use his lasso. He's going to grab Hani. Hani is going to be a lot of trouble. Hani will die. Does Hani have buyback? He does not. He finished the Aghanim Scepter rather than saving for buyback. And Alliance are going to work on these middle barracks. They're going to turn their attention to the top barracks most likely, as this is going to give them a huge starting point, but still have to end the game in around 5 minutes. Otherwise, they are going to be out due to the time rating system. So Fnatic all need to do is hold on, but they really need that extra point to Acid Spray. I really disagree with Alchemist's skill build, as Bulldog going to work on these top barracks. They will claim these very, very easily, and now Fnatic will be pressured by 2 lanes, and now Alliance can pretty much sit in camp inside of Fnatic's base. They have some arcane boots to heal them up in terms of mana. They have some earn charges to heal them up in terms of HP. They don't have a mechanism just yet, but still. Oh, they do have mechanism up on Aki, and now Alliance, you can see they're not going to back off. They want to end the game right now. This is their moment, and Fnatic, they're going to have to hold on, otherwise they'll be knocked out of Dreamhack, surprisingly enough. They played decently enough, but just were not ready for this Alliance time push, and you can see the bear just chipping away. Bulldog still has another bear to be summoned, and you can see the bear has not even given up his 300 gold bounty just yet. Bulldog has just been microing this hero sensationally well. But Alliance, they're going to back up for now. The pop of smoke in a seat, but actually it gets immediately dispelled, I think. And Fnatic probably not going to fall for this. But still, Alliance going to go back in. EGM and Visage trying to get themselves into position as S4 will fly overhead, trying to spot Trixie. They will get Trixie, and that means there won't be any wall, and the wall is a key component in terms of defending the base, as here comes the Tombstone. It is going to be dropped, but it's going to be immediately focused down. Sonic Wave is already down as Eric going to be trapped in position. He will get picked off as well, as the bear is going to die to fly, but still 300 gold for Bane Elemental. What will that accomplish? As Loda going to work on these tier 4s. Alliance, will they be able to clean up these tier 4 towers? They only have about 2.5 minutes, I think. Well, 3.5 minutes, still a long time, but they can't really afford to wait too much longer since Trixie is going to be respawning relatively soon, and it's going to be very difficult to take down these towers up against the wall. But Alliance, they're going to go to work. Fnatic still don't have the glyph, and these towers getting absolutely obliterated by the Edict, and looks like Alliance are going to win the game. Fly being driven away, gonna get the Brain Sap online as S4 is zoning out the side of Fnatic, and this game will go to Alliance. In such a tense match, it looks like Alliance simply cannot be stopped. The Edict, the bear, just doing way too much, and Fnatic will end up losing. They're gonna go home. They won't even make it to the playoff bracket despite going 2-1 in the groups. Time rating system, ladies and gentlemen. What a system. But Alliance executed their strategy brilliantly. It looked a bit difficult, but once Bullock got the reins, Alliance just never looked back. And if I had to fault Fnatic, it was definitely the draft. I think giving up Barrett as well as Lundred, two of Alliance's best heroes, as well as giving up a Leshrac against when you want a turtle is just not a good choice. And once Bullock got the reins, that was just game over. Game, set, match for Alliance. But really nicely played by Alliance executing that strategy. So now we're going to make our way to the playoff bracket, where there's a lot of epic games to be casted. So hopefully you'll stick with me and check out these matches, as I will be back relatively soon with some more matches. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.